out there that may be concerned about COVID, I can confirm that I still have my sense of smell and I still have my sense of taste because I tasted the spicy McNuggets
Ah,
from McDonald's.
okay.
And
I
they
d-
tasted not great.
yeah, not a fan myself. I had a regular McNugget and a spicy nugget,
Huh. Oh, good for
so I
you.
could at least compare the two. Regular McNugget. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a huge McNugget guy.
I'm not either.
I'll give that like a 6.
Oh.
Spicy nugget like a 4.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay. I
Caleb,
disagree. The regular
big.
nuggets are a 10 for me.
Really?
Whoa,
Yeah,
10.
I love
Whoa.
McDonald's nuggets.
Whoa.
I mean, it's like McDonald's and Wendy's. They're neck and neck for best nuggets.
Mm.
But the spicy ones, so I did have them when they came out originally. When was that? Months ago?
Yeah, it was months ago
October or
now.
something.
Yeah.
And I didn't like them at all then, but just because we were doing this, I got them again, and they were actually a lot better this time. So I don't know what happened.
Maybe modified the recipe or something.
Yeah, before they just tasted like McNuggets with pepper on them, with like black pepper on them, and now they actually had a little bit more flavor. I thought they were also like a little bit extra crispy. I think they were left in the fryer maybe just a tad too long, but that was actually kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed who the voice of the commercial is?
I don't
The-
think I've seen the
Well, the Brian
commercial,
Cox,
actually.
aren't they?
Yeah, it's Brian Cox.
He's been doing them for a while because he does the ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah,
like
he's
very
just
just odd. Like
I was just like, I could just hear him berating Kendall as he recommends McDonald's to me.
like he's
So
just
7. I'm going 7.
going to
Spicy
7.
nuggets, 7.
Okay, I'm a
Okay, Logan
4.
gave it a 4.
Yeah, where are
I'm
you
gonna
at?
go 3. I'm
Mm.
just not hot, but I'm not a big McNugget guy, so I'm like Logan in that regard. Like I wouldn't choose a McNugget. Now Wendy's, I'm with you, Caleb. It's weird that they're neck and neck for you because like
Mhm.
Wendy's is like an 8 for me. So I really like the Wendy's nuggets, but I've never been a big McNugget guy. I don't know what it is. And I also don't like did you guys go sauce? Tell me about sauce selection.
I went
Sauce?
ranch
Oh,
because I knew I wanted
ranch.
something to cool down.
Yeah.
It makes sense, right? Spicy
Mhm.
ranch. I just am not a big McDonald's ranch guy.
No,
I
it's not
really,
good. It's not the best
it's
ranch. It's
I
one of
should
the weaker
just get my
ranches.
own ranch. Yeah, I
Mhm.
shouldn't get it because it kind of tastes like chlorine to me. I don't know what it just has like it feels like it's filled with cleaner. For whatever reason, it
Interesting.
Could
hits my
be.
tongue like,
I'm not a ranch connoisseur like you guys.
yeah, I am worse than Logan.
Now you want
But
to
Yeah.
talk about barbecue sauces? I'll do that all day. But
I like a good barbecue
Mhm.
sauce. I
I
do.
do like McDonald's barbecue sauce.
yeah,
Yes, I
one of the
do.
best.
Yeah,
The thing I
put
always
that on
ask
a
for.
McChicken for me.
Hmm
Little barbecue sauce McChicken. Yeah.
I my go-to for that is usually if I want fries at McDonald's, give me hot mustard sauce. And I request it. I would say 50-50 time. It comes 50 like
Oh,
the
in the app
yeah,
even.
like in the app or in the drive-through, I'll request hot mustard sauce. I get in the bag. It's
You
not
know what
there.
you do?
Hmm
I got a solution for you.
hmm
You should do. You put like 12 of them in the order.
hmm
That way they can't. They see 12, they're gonna remember like, oh, this guy wants some hot
This guy
mustard.
wants his hot mustard.
One, they might forget, but they're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, Jesus, this
There,
guy wants 12 of these things.
I will
And you
tell
got the
you that
bonus of the next time you need them, you'll just
yeah,
have a bunch of extra.
the issue is a lot of times is I'll get to the window and I will ask about it and they'll say, "Yeah, we don't have hot mustard here." Or they'll give me honey mustard
I've
as a
never even
substitute.
heard.
The hot mustard's where it's at. I don't know why. That's kind of been my thing for McDonald's fries. I don't know why.
I feel like we're this close to there being an American Dad episode about hot mustard. This close.
Yeah,
You say hot mustard 3 more times, like a Beetlejuice effect, and you
it
will have
could be.
created a cartoon about it.
I will say though, there is something very special about ordering McDonald's drive-through and eating the fries in the car on the way home. I don't know why.
They're
They
the
use-
best when they're like super fresh.
Right.
That's
Yep,
for sure.
I agree.
Like
I agree.
other places, for whatever reason, sure, they're fine. The fries are fine, but eating those McDonald's French fries on the way home, just getting your steering wheel covered in grease and salt is something nice about that.
Just that way, when you drive the following day, it's oh god,
Yeah.
No, the salt's there to counteract the grease. It's perfect.
it's like
Right.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's like literally like like road salt. It's,
Yep.
thank God for the salt.
Okay.
Save me.
So, what are we doing next week? Because I feel like we didn't address the major elephant in the room here. The first thing was that we didn't say we were doing spicy McNuggets. We said we
that's
were
right.
doing the Popeyes flounder sandwich.
Don't even mention their name.
Okay.
They don't even deserve their name to be mentioned at this point.
No. Basically, yeah, don't ever go to Popeyes. They can't seem to get their shit together, and yeah, we're gonna leave it at that.
How do you run out of sandwiches for 4 days? Is what I want to know. All
And-
sandwiches. How
And
do you
make you
run
wait a
out?
half hour in the drive-through after you've ordered it on the app. Like you shouldn't
And
be
you
allowed to
already
order
paid.
it on the app.
Worst part about that story, Caleb, Thursday night you had a real struggle with Popeyes. The following day, I'm speaking with a coworker, and she says, "My husband just picked me up one of the fish sandwiches from Popeyes. It was really good." I said, Which location?" "Oh, that one, really? That's interesting." So someone went the following day for lunch, Caleb.
And they
Got-
got one.
Different information. Yep. I think you got not even the B team, the D team that night,
Man.
probably. It makes it even worse, in my opinion,
That is way worse.
because you were told one thing and then, yeah, all right, that's nope, Popeyes. You've done us wrong. You're dead to the Master of Unlocking podcast, Popeyes. We have a
Yep.
sponsorship with them. No, we don't. Not anymore.
They could be like, hey, our special this week is free food, and if you come in one time, it's for life, and we would pass.
At this point, maybe.
No
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think I'm with
no
you.
thanks, honey. I'm good. Louisiana ass.
So, oh gosh, where do we go from here? Do we do? We've had a couple of things pop up. There's been the Meat Mountain
Right.
from Arby's, and I'm not even sure if it's a real thing.
It is.
Because
I've seen pictures.
I've seen pictures too. I've seen good and bad pictures of it. It seems like this was actually just that it's always been there. It's a secret menu item. Like you can order it, but it became popular all of a sudden on the internet this week because someone ordered one and it turned out really ugly. And I'm trying to go through and actually find out, like, can you really get this thing? Like, is it? I'm also trying to find out how much it is because I'm hearing it might be $35
Ooh.
for one sandwich. So, I mean,
Do they?
I mean,
don't
Arby's
have an app.
has the meats, but I'm trying to find
I
information.
like how when it
here.
was trending on Twitter, it was trending as Arby.
Yeah, not
Is it
Arby.
really? Just the singular.
Arby.
That's like when Peter asked to see the Colonel. I want to see Arby. Is Arby here?
Colonel. Yeah, there's the Colonel here.
He did.
He did.
Yeah, I am not seeing it on
His
their
Mr.
website.
Sand is here.
Like, I'm seeing a story from like July 1st of last year even about this thing. Like, it's just on the secret menu. And it's been there for a while. And it sounds like maybe the internet just picked up on this.
Let's get something weird. Let's do something weird. Like, I don't know. Who has the most off the wall menu item? Not even something that we would normally try. I don't know. Does Subway count? Does Subway do weird things? We did Subway once.
Mm-hmm. We did their buffalo chicken, I believe.
Hang on. They are listed on DoorDash.
Oh,
this might
good.
Actually,
Yes.
be a thing.
All right. I'll do that too. I'll check DoorDash as well. I just signed up for a since I might be home for a while, I signed up for the free month of Dash Pass. So no delivery fees for this guy.
Yeah, that's a good deal if you're going to be using it a lot. Okay, so when you search for it, it doesn't show up, but it does show up on, I don't know what website this is. Yeah, let's I don't know about the Meat Mountain. This thing says it's $10.
Yeah, I think there's probably, like I said, it was a rumor thing here. I'm not sure.
Arby's is offering a $10 Meat Mountain sandwich.
Is that under Market Fresh or what?
I don't think you can order it from the app. I think that's the deal.
Yeah.
I think you have to order it through the drive-through, and they probably have
What if we went fish, but somewhere we trust? Like, what if we gave Arby's a shot at the fish?
We did.
Who else is doing?
You missed that week.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys were.
We got it. Yeah.
What'd you guys give that?
It was good.
It was good. Yeah, I think we gave it like at least an 8. I want to say it wasn't bad.
That's good. Okay. Their chicken sandwiches are good, so that makes sense.
There are quite a few places that are doing fish for the first time. Let me bring up this thing.
Let's do that. Let's see if we can redeem a fish.
We got Dairy Queen. We don't have an A&W, do we?
Not anymore.
Used to. Not anymore. Yeah.
I know there's one at Culver's.
What if we hold on? Two questions real quick. We used to. What does Culver's do? Fried chicken?
I don't know.
Like actual fried chicken?
No, I can't imagine. I don't think so.
Their menu is like
I think they might do fried chicken. So one, if they do fried chicken, we were talking about how Hardee's used to have fried chicken off the podcast, and if we were going to do fast food fried chicken, I say we do Culver's sometime. And then two, I'm okay with trying a Dairy Queen fish sandwich. Could be terrible.
There's also a Sonic one.
What do we think, Sonic versus DQ?
I feel like we did Sonic semi recently, so I feel like maybe we should go DQ.
DQ fish sandwich. Objections?
That's fine. I'm also seeing for the first time here the Hardee's really big Hardy.
Oh, I've seen the big Hardy before.
What is the big Hardy?
It's kind of like a Big Mac, I think.
Yeah, it looks like a 3-patty burger with.
Well, we got to get through the Baconators first before we go to the Big Mac.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, do we need to finish that first before we do any of this?
That's fine. If you guys want to do that, we can do that. Let's go get a Baconator.
Baconator? Okay.
That's easy, right? We know it'll be good for the most part. It's a known quantity. Now we just need to rank it. Baconator it is. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to even look at the Dairy Queen.
I like it. Let's do the bacon burgers every other week and then something in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do that.
That way we can fast for a week before we go back to the bacon the bacon burger.
Baconator. Oh God. All right. I'm thinking already. It's got it. Yeah. Okay. That's gonna be a Thursday.
What's the third one? The third one is Hardee's.
The Hardee's Monster Burger.
Okay.
Yep, I'm planning my Thursday around it right now.
That'll boy. Good for you. Wake up, work out.
Wake up Friday.
Yep. Go to lunch, work out. Run home.
There'll be a lot of
work out again.
There'll be like maybe some oats with some salad for breakfast for lunch or something that day.
What would a rabbit have for breakfast?
I know, right? Okay. All right. Well, let's get into some video games here. Caleb and I have been playing a little game called Little Nightmares 2, to be precise. So last week, Caleb, you had started this and hadn't quite finished it, and I think you finished it up this week, right?
I did, yep.
I am, to tell you where I'm at, I think I'm through the 4th area, which is the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So, Jason, I think we talked about this last week as this is kind of a B game limbo inside, if for lack of a better term, I guess.
I do like it, the way it looks. I can't quite. It's probably a good description for what I saw, but I think the aesthetic of that game is really cool.
It does. It is. There's a lot of cool lighting effects and stuff in there. I think there's. It even, when I say B game, it's got a very polished look to it. I think it's just not as good as Limbo and Inside. I think that so
The
it wouldn't.
the gameplay is definitely B tier.
Yeah, that's for sure. But looks wise, aesthetic wise, it's up there. It's a solid game with that. Um,
It's super creepy too, like the
mhm.
school teacher Logan.
Oh yeah,
How like so
she was
you
creepy.
you can hide behind like a at one point I thought I was safe because I was hidden behind a bookshelf
Hmm.
and her neck just stretched across the entire room and saw me behind the
Uh,
bookshelf and then just
Yeah.
snatched me with her mouth.
Hmm.
that's
I
like
was
Beetlejuice
super
stuff,
creeped
man.
out by
That's kind of the style of her actually is Beetlejuice. Like if there was a way to classify her style, that was
You
what
know,
she
yeah,
looked
we were
like.
talking about Burton last week, weren't we?
Hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
good way of.
Um, the I will say the hospital people don't look as well. They're still kind of Burton-y, but the hospital people don't have eyes, so that's creepy.
yeah.
So I think if I'm
That was one of my least favorite mechanics was
the hospital,
the hospital
the
and light.
flashlight. Oh my
Yep.
God, I almost quit the game twice.
Yep.
In the hospital because I just was so annoyed with the combat because that game should not have any combat in it at all.
Right.
I think you mentioned that last week was that hey, anytime you actually have to do any sort of combat, it goes from being fun to not fun at all. And yeah, the time where you have to hit the hands, like
The hands and even in the school with the little kids and you have to hit them with the hammer
yeah,
or the
mhm,
axe or whatever. It's just
the game
it's
falls
bad.
apart. It's yeah, that's where it kind of falls apart. If it was just a little more puzzle platforming, yeah, great. Like that's
Right.
yeah, that's the fun part of that game. And but yeah, the combat is where I have had the most significant issues and where I've said, ugh, like this is bad. I don't want to continue this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of really cool ideas and it's
Hmm.
definitely got that look and the aesthetic down like super creepy, perfect, like pitch
Hmm.
perfect in that regard, but there are too many frustrating sections for me to recommend this to
Hmm.
basically anybody. Like I knew you played the first one, so you probably wanted to check it out. But
Hmm.
other than that, I mean, Jason, don't play this game. It's going to be too frustrating. As somebody that's not like a
Okay.
fan necessarily of the genre, I can't tell you to play this.
What is the genre of this one? Help me understand
I
that.
think it's puzzle platformer, right?
Yeah, like I guess it'd be like the 2D slash 3D puzzle platformer.
Hmm. Has some 3D
Okay.
elements to it, but for the most part, it's
Yeah, well, you're on it. You're moving from left to right for the most part, but there
mhm,
is some depth
mhm. You've
to
got,
the
I would say usually a hallway's width,
yeah
10 feet at most. That's where you're typically at is like a hallway of a school or a hallway of a hospital. And that's about all the depth that you have. You might have a little bit more with a room sometimes, but for the most part, it's, you know, anywhere between 8 to 12 feet.
it's also a really easy platinum if you're into that. So I guess if anybody out there is listening that's into platinum hunting, this is not a
Hmm.
bad one for that. If you can get past those frustrating parts,
Hmm.
I
Um,
would have done that in the old days. How much is this, by the way?
$30.
15? Damn, really? 30?
mhm. It's
Wow.
one of those that'll come down fast and probably will be on Game Pass soon enough.
Yeah, I wonder
I think Little Nightmares 1 is on Game Pass right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
how long do you guys think it is?
Hmm.
probably if you actually do the collectible hunting, probably 8 hours. If not, probably 5 or 6. I don't know. What do you think, Logan?
Well, I don't know how much I have left. I guess I have, if I finish the hospital, how much do I have left of this game?
You have one level that's shorter than all the rest.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, then probably, yeah, 6. And I would say that's due to me having a really frustrating time with one section that probably took me a half hour. And that
Is that with
wasn't
the
even
lights, with the flashlight?
the flashlight and having to make it through that one room with the flashlight. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, if it's the same room I'm thinking of, what I ended up doing was just smushing myself up against the front, like the foreground,
Mm-hmm.
the invisible wall there, just smashing myself up against that with my back to it, and then the flashlight out in front of me, and then just inching along just a little bit
Okay.
at a time. That's how I got through that section because otherwise it's a nightmare.
I ended up going and like running into the group, like as far as I could into the group, and then running back out, pulling all of them with me and then keeping the flashlight on them and then like kind of circling back around
Yeah.
behind a pillar, and then so they were
So
behind me, and then I walked backwards the whole rest of the way. But that took a
Jason,
long time to figure out.
the mechanic is that they can only move in the darkness. So if you have your flashlight shown on them, they stop. But it is that like getting the flashlight to go in the direction you want it to go is super finicky. It's not fun.
So is this the Alan Wake DLC you guys have been waiting for? Or?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, the Doom 3 DLC. Got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
long time coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there was what, probably 8 or 9 of those things coming after you at once.
Yeah.
Something
At some
like
points, yeah.
yeah. It was, that room was awful, just awful.
That's a shame that it's got such a cool look, but it's such a pain in the ass to play because that's not going to do a game that is driven by a like visual appeal. It's not doing it any
Yeah.
favors, you
Well,
know.
And the sections that are like just puzzle sections are awesome.
Yeah, like I'll tell you about one puzzle because you probably won't play this. You're in a hospital. You come up to an X-ray room. You can turn on the X-ray
yeah.
machine, and it's like, oh yeah, like you have. Oh, by the way, you have a partner with you, an AI partner, who kind of helps you with things. And she goes behind the thing, and you can see her like, hey, waving, and all you see are her bones. The next room over is a playroom, and there's a bunch of toys in there. So what you do is you actually grab one of the toys, bring it over to the X-ray machine. You can see an item inside of it that you need inside the toy, but you can't get it out. Well, sure enough, there's an incinerator room in the basement. So you take the toy to the basement, throw the toy into the incinerator, and then get the key out of the toy that's now burned. Like
But you have to use the X-ray machine to figure out which
which
toy you
toy
need
has
to
it
take out
has
of
the
there.
thing in it.
That's pretty awesome.
Like,
that sounds cool. That
right.
sounds
Like,
really
so
cool.
it does that cool thing, and then it turns around and just does these stupid mechanics where, like, here you get this one little stick that you have to pick up, and you have to fight a hand that's like Thing from the Addams Family crawling on the ground. That this game shouldn't have combat. It just shouldn't have combat.
Right.
Because it is just too finicky to try to even remotely, like, controlling that right stick to get a direction. No, it's just bad.
Yep.
Bummer. Especially at that price tag. Yeah. But that puzzle sounds redeeming in a way. And I'm sure you enjoy looking at it, but it's just probably too many. I'm hearing too many cons, but every time I do look at it, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to play that, but not hearing that and not at the price. So Logan, maybe you're right. By the time the year's up, I could probably play it on Game Pass. Hopefully,
yeah. See. I mean, it's one of those two. I guess, like, if you were ever in a lull, yeah, I mean, it'd be something worth picking up, or not worth picking up, but worth trying out, I guess I should say. Yeah. So, or if you're in a mood for a game like that, I mean, that's so. All right.
Yeah. Other than that, the only thing I played this week, I played probably 3 or 4 more hours of AC Valhalla. So I'm still, I restarted it, so I'm still at the beginning of that game. I'm not even caught back up to where I left off on the PC version. So, but it looks incredible on the PS5 on that TV. It looks freaking great. So that's about all I have to say about that game.
All right.
Did you say Valhalla, Caleb? Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I heard you there.
Yeah. You still plugging away?
Yeah, I'm still plugging away. I don't really have anything new to say about that other than I have actually started listening to the soundtrack of that game because I don't think it's utilized enough. I really like the soundtrack. I actually listen to it on Spotify while I'm playing it, so I can actually enjoy like the feel that Jesper Kid is trying to do. Because he kind of nails it. The title track for that game is really incredible. It's very good. So I like the soundtrack a lot, and I listen to it while I play, which is weird, but it kind of enhances it a little bit for me. And that's mainly all I have to say about it. I think so far I really do like it compared to the other two in the trilogy. And maybe that'll change because I haven't finished it. but the size and scale of that game still does impress me. Like to have everything be rendered like it is, Caleb, and be as pretty as it is and as detailed as it is for the size of it, because it is ambitious. It's I don't know. If you keep playing it, I'd be curious. I'm having trouble because I'm not trying to use hyperbole here, but I'm having trouble thinking of a bigger map. And the conversation around this game, especially lately, is like it's too long, and I totally get that. Like, but I have a hard time reconciling in my head like if this was the only game that came out 4 years ago, I think everybody would have played it and it would have been like game of the year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's because we are in this like there's some open world fatigue for sure, especially from Ubisoft, Logan. I get it.
Mhm.
Um, but it's one of the biggest games I've ever played, but it's also pretty well held together. Like it's really ambitious, and I think they nailed it for the most part. Um, I haven't finished the story, so I can't say whether or not that's true for the story. But as far as the way they handle just visuals and little details, like for example, there's a side story I did today that was pretty entertaining. There's a brother who lives with his family and another brother who lives with his family. They shared a field of crops, and so Eivor comes across them, and they're fighting each other. Like both families are feuding. So he tries to get them to stop fighting, and he realizes he's not going to do it after talking to all the family members and trying to convince them to get along. So he decides, I mean, it's not your choice. If you want to finish this side quest, you do what Eivor wants to do. And Eivor decides to torch the entire crop and burn down their homes. And he thinks that's the good thing to do. And so I'm like, I don't want to do this. I would rather them beat the shit out of each other than me burn down their homes. And then you do it and you walk around the corner and all the families are hugging and embracing and saying like, I forgot how much we loved each other. And Eivor's like, see, told you. It's just okay, it's just weird. And
The
that's
the
pretty
best
entertaining to
one
see that in a side quest.
the
So
best one I've done
I
so
like it.
far is there's just a guy standing out in the middle of nowhere and he's like, I'm the fourth in my line and I want to do something better than everybody else has done before. So I need you to bring me bring a monster to me so I can slay it. And this guy's just like a little twig. And so Avar is like, all right, I'll do that. And there's some wolves over there. So I like aggroed a wolf and I brought it over to him. And the wolf just absolutely rips him to shreds. And then it's like story complete.
You did what he asked, you know?
It sounds like from what you've said and what other people have said that this game has better side content than primary story content.
Some of it's good and some of it's really bad.
Yeah,
But
some of it's bad.
Okay.
Because there's so much of it, Logan. Like
yeah,
that's the thing, is
Oh, yeah.
there's too much of it. So some of it hits, but like if 50% of it is good and 50% of it bad, that means there's too damn much of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
It sounds like there's an editing issue going on over there.
Like
Maybe that's a
there was
good way to
one
say
where
it.
there was a guy who was supposed to be on guard, but he was sleeping. And then he starts sleepwalking, and Avor's trying to wake him up, like, "Hey,
I haven't seen this one.
you're gonna walk off a cliff if you don't stop." And he goes over to a zip line, and he actually like uses the zip line while he's asleep, and that wakes him up. So on the other side of the zip line, he wakes up, and she's like, "Hey, you were sleepwalking," and he's like, "No, I was flying. I know I was flying over here." And then that's the end of it. That's the whole thing. It's like, well, what was the point of that? I just followed him around for like 30 seconds and then this mission ended.
I don't think, Caleb, you made this point before, and the last thing I'll say about it, because we talk about it every week, and I don't want to do that, but you mentioned that we both have a friend in common who plays these games and plays like the bleep out of them, and it's one of maybe like 6 or 7 games they play a year, you know?
Yeah.
Like they don't play games like we do. And for those people, I mean, there's a lot. Like there's a lot of stuff to do. You can hunt, you know, you can fish, you can do a ton of side stuff. Like for those people, I bet they really are happy with it. If that's who Ubisoft makes this game for, I don't think they've done it wrong. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
If there's enough people out there that this is like their COD or their Madden or whatever, like if there's enough people out there that have like previous gen systems and buy one Assassin's Creed now every couple of years, and it's the one thing they see and play, like, and really dive in there and be Eivor, like,
I just think
I don't know if that's the wrong thing necessarily.
They could split the gap a little bit better, though. They could have all that content in there for people that want it, but then make the story a little tighter for people that don't. I think is where they struggle.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you're right. Maybe they have chosen a master to serve, and that's the one that they're banking on. I don't know. And I don't know what the sales are like for Valhalla, but they keep making these things, so it must be profitable.
Yeah, my guess is this thing still sells pretty well. And I think if there's data out there, obviously, because you've got achievements and you got trophies that are out there. What's the percentage of people who've actually played this game to story completion? I don't know.
It's got to be to the person compared to like you, Logan, who booted up. Like you're in that data,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in that data, and as the person who played 6 to 8 hours of that game. But yeah, there's also the person who plays 100 hours of that game, buys some DLC later, and if they feel like they've got that number figured out, then the math adds
that also includes the mutual friend that you were talking about, Jason, who got 90% of the way through the story, had a mission glitch on him and can't finish it. So
can that be patched?
Not the thing that he is stuck on. Yeah. Because it's like one of the, how you have the tree of people you have to assassinate. One of those people, in order to advance the story, he needs to kill one, but it hasn't flagged him as killable, so he's just an NPC walking around apparently, and he can't be killed, but he needs to be to advance the story.
So. I do have a few, since you told me that, Caleb, actually, I have a few rotating manual saves for that reason.
Yeah.
So if something like that happens, hopefully I can reboot and save myself from it. But I'll be interested to see if you keep going on that, Caleb, or you sputter out.
I'm gonna pick it up in between stuff, maybe, and because it's what it's perfect for is it's the perfect podcast game. When I get behind on podcast feed, then I'll boot up that game and listen to 2 or 3 podcasts. Perfect for that. So
there you go.
I'd be curious to see if you do see it through. I do think the one thing that out of the story that's decent is Eivor and Sigurd. Like their relationship is interesting.
Yeah.
And where Sigurd is headed as the King of Kings, or trying to be the King of Kings, and the god complex he develops, and the way Eivor kind of tries to navigate that is actually it's not bad. I really don't mind it. Maybe it didn't work for some people, but it works for me. That's it. Enough AC. Sorry. I know I keep talking about it.
No, it's
Did you
fine.
play anything else, Logan? Because
I just played a little bit more Yakuza. I finished one of the chapters. I don't remember if it was chapter 4 or 5, so I'm still pretty early on. But I enjoyed the hell out of that chapter. I will say that much.
What happened? Go ahead.
They've
Don't spoil anything though, because I do plan on
Caleb,
going back for that.
This was a nursing home that they were investigating. There was a prostitute.
Okay.
A prostitute not showing up for work. Caleb, have you gotten this far?
I think I got that, and then I didn't. I stopped before I followed up on it. I think that's exactly where I stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just looking into how someone's family member is being taken care of in a nursing home, and there's a rival Yakuza clan that is actually the money behind this nursing home. So that's the
shenanigans
Ichiban being like, Ichiban being like the dumbest smart guy or the smartest dumb guy on earth has drawn those two links together, and then yes, shenanigans, hijinks ensue. Yes.
The actual PS5 version comes out, I think, either next week or the week after. So I might get that at some point. We'll see.
So you both had mentioned something about a movie, like going to a movie or something.
Yeah. It's a side quest. It's
a side quest.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to go find this thing, I guess, at some point.
Yeah,
it's a theater.
It's a theater. Okay.
Yeah.
All
it's a place you can go.
Okay.
So if you just Googled Yakuza Like a Dragon theater, you would go to it.
Give me a direction of where to go.
And talk about, oh god.
It shows up on the map as like one of the little side quest icons too. So
okay, is it like a little
might
movie
be a
reel
sub story
or something?
Yeah, it's like the thing that says there's like a conversation somewhere. There's one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I've done a few of those. I've got my first summon. That was
well done. Nice.
One where you had to figure out which guy was peeing.
No.
That one's pretty good too. I won't.
I haven't. Yeah, I've had a few. Definitely a few of these random side things that are just wacky as hell. Like I don't even know how to describe them. I also find it very interesting that the place you go to get like upgraded equipment and armor and everything else is just a sex dungeon. Like it's a sex toy shop.
Love magic. Yep.
I was just like, why am I going here? Oh wait, why can I buy weapons and armor here?
That's because when you buy a dildo in real life, that's fine. It will always be a dildo. But when Ichiban runs into a gang of goons, that dildo in his mind turns into a sword or whatever. You know what I mean? Like these people aren't actually turning into these fantastical characters, but that's what's so great about that game is you see everything through Ichiban's eyes. And if he's so down and out and so messed up that he needs to spin the world as like his own version of Dragon Quest, and that's what you see, there's something about that is just like only a Japanese developer, honestly, could pull it off. Because a Western developer would just screw that up. It's so good.
Yeah, that game's weird as hell. It's just weird as hell. That's all I got.
In the best kind of way. Yeah, I'm glad you keep playing it, Logan. I think you will be rewarded for that. It'll at least will entertain you.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm using it as just really weird entertainment. Like if I pick it up, play a chapter, put it back down after, like play something else, and then pick it back up here and there. I think that'll be the way I play this thing.
Yeah, and for both of you, if you need me after playing it for as long as I did, if you need me to be if you hit like a leveling wall or if you hit stuff like that, I can be your resource to quickly answer those questions because it can get a little bit confusing when you do research on like a dragon. Some of the best stuff is actually Japanese translation websites. There's not a ton of American resources the way there is for Japanese translation stuff. So if you need help, like if you hit your first leveling wall, all you need is about an hour and a half and you're done with it and you'll be way OP and I can help guide you guys to that.
Got it. Other than that, I don't really have any other games unless you guys do.
Nope.
I played a little bit of Cyber Shadow. I beat a couple more chapters of it. I play it maybe 1 or 2 hours a week. So that's kind of, you guys were talking like that game will probably be around for me the rest of the year. And I'll just kind of play it a little bit here and there because it's actually when I start fresh on it and I give it a couple of days to breathe, I'm less frustrated with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I don't bang my head against the wall. Like if something's hard, I just put it down and then I come back and with fresh eyes, I'm having more success and more tolerance for it, for the difficulty. And that has actually helped me clear a few more chapters. So that's it.
Yeah, the Persona Strikers is out digitally, but I got the physical copy, so it's not here until Tuesday.
I thought so, yeah.
So I will have to talk about that next week.
Got it.
Exciting.
Got it. Okay, well, let's switch to TV. Jason, you want to talk about The Head? Because you and Caleb have now both watched The Head.
I feel like Caleb, we're on just another wavelength. Like, I don't know if I can recommend TV to you as well as you can recommend it to me. Now, granted, you watch everything. You watch good TV, you watch bad TV, all of it in between. And so I try to just watch the good TV.
Yeah.
And so
I'm getting to the point where I'm about ready to abandon this project, to be honest, because
the
there are
pilot
some.
project.
Whew,
Oh boy. Oh, that wasn't a TV show. You put in our shared list there. Bad Pilots wasn't a
Bad
show
Pilots
because
is
it should
just
be.
a whole bunch of garbage.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to
But
tell you, man. You
so do
knew
you
what
like
this
the
was.
head is what I'm
I
getting
like
at.
the head. I finished the head. 6
Okay.
episodes of the head.
See, that's the other problem I'm having with this project is that I'll watch the first episode and really like it, but then because I have this list of other shows that I have to watch, I can't watch past the first episode. So I want to go back and watch it, but I just haven't had the time because I've had to watch all these other crappy.
I don't know,
Hmm.
Caleb. I don't.
Yeah, this
You.
experiment just sounds awful.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm about like 2 terrible dramas away from just abandoning it. The
I.
comedies I can get through because they're usually half an hour and they're usually not, there's usually something in there.
Mm.
But the dramas, oof.
And there's
He's
only
looking at you, Equalizer.
I know. I
Yeah.
was like, there's only so many equalizers you can take before you just can't do it anymore.
There was a show on Amazon this week called Tell Me Your Secrets, and it was fucking awful.
Well, why do I feel like I know about this? Tell me your secrets. Huh. Maybe it's something
anyway.
else. But go ahead. Yeah.
The head.
I started the head and finished it like almost immediately. Logan, I would say that this is something that you and your wife could probably enjoy.
Mm.
It's got enough of a mystery thing that I think your wife would enjoy it. Like it's a mix of The Thing, the movie The Thing,
Okay.
Clue, and like Caleb said last week, The Terror from AMC, which you didn't watch. They find someone who's been murdered on this. Is it the Antarctic, Caleb? Right? In an Antarctic
somewhere
base,
either very far north or very far south, and I don't really know which.
South Pole is what the description says.
So, it's they're in a remote location and they leave all the people there. They come back and something has gone very wrong, and it's up to the folks that find them to kind of try to piece together what happened as they come to just lots of carnage and wreckage.
And it was Colonel Mustard with the rope in the ballroom.
That is exactly who it was. I couldn't have been happier. I think I like this show a lot, Caleb. It's not perfect. It's not close to perfect, but it's probably my favorite show so far this year because it's just kind of the right thing. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like it is a drama and it's a whodunit, but it's also kind of just silly and not like hardy har, but like, you know what I mean? Like good old fashioned R-rated fun.
Okay.
Like who did
90s
this?
action movie.
Not
Well,
quite
not that far.
Not explosions or anything like that, but
Okay.
enough. But like that whole like that reveal at the end of each episode. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is juicy. You know what I mean? That keeps you going. And it's really good. The head's really good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't want to spoil it for you guys if both of you are gonna watch it.
Give it a whirl
but I would say I think it's worth both of you checking out. And since it's only 6 episodes, I say that as well. But Logan, I think that's a show that you could actually
for 6
watch
episodes
with
too,
your wife.
That's probably a thing we could do. Speaking of shows that are 6 episodes that I'm watching with my wife, Caleb's also watching this as It's a Sin.
Yeah.
I'm only 1 episode in, so just that came out Friday, right?
Something like that.
Thursday or Friday, on HBO Max. Boy, that show's good. That's
it's really good.
It's really good. That first episode. I mean, so Jason, and Caleb, I don't know if have you watched all of it.
Just the first one.
The first one. It's a Sin is about it's set in the early '80s in London. The best way I think I would classify this is Rent, but in New York. Instead of being in New York, they're in London and no music.
Yeah,
So
it centers around three gay teenagers, and it kind of shifts between the three stories.
mhm,
And it's also got a lot of the drama of it comes from the AIDS
crisis,
pandemic,
yeah.
or however you want to
Mm.
describe that
Crisis, I think, was kind of what they
crisis,
called it at the time. Yeah.
and the kind of the misinformation that was floating around about it, and
Mhm.
how it was handled at the time. And so it's equal parts like you get to see like these young boys like finding their sexuality and finally finding their place in the world, but contrast that up against the sadness of the crisis and of all this
Mhm.
stuff. So it's equal parts like you've got a really happy storyline going on, but there's also a really sad storyline
Right.
going
And you
on.
also
So
have the conflict within their families too. I mean,
yep,
the each of the three of them have their own different conflicts internally with their prior lives, I guess to call it that, as growing coming from teenagers to being adults now, and because really all of them are I mean, it's they're all either moving on to university or moving on to other jobs. So that's the kind of where they're at. Um, they all end up intertwining, over the course of this, the first episode even. So all three of them end up intertwining by the end of the first episode and kind of have some stories together. But uh, yeah, say it's well acted, well produced. I mean, it's an HBO show, that's for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, looking,
Neil Patrick Harris is in it, and
yeah,
he is
Huh.
really really good.
yeah, he's real good in that show. So,
It's kind of exciting to have him be passionate about something like that,
mhm,
and to have it be not How I Met Your Mother,
right.
frankly, or
Yeah,
Harold and Kumar. I mean, both good enough in their own right, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's
he's
good to see him be a dramatic actor and
not a parody of something.
right, yeah,
Right.
especially because he's so much more than that. Especially from like if you look at Tony Awards and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah. The
he's an
guy
actor.
yeah, the guy knows how to act, he knows how to sing. He is a performer, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I would recommend this when you get a chance. That and
I'm sure I would like it from what you guys have said. If I
mhm,
watch the stuff on HBO that I watched last year,
yeah.
I'm sure I will enjoy this.
yeah.
And it's also I think it came up in my like recommendations or popped up late
Mhm.
last week. I didn't know it was so new,
It's
but it's
Metacriticing
critically
very high.
Yeah,
jeez.
Like
Yeah, I was like,
blowing
whoa.
stuff out of the water, yeah. So,
yeah,
mhm, yeah. And
I'll check it out.
mhm, that's for sure.
yeah. It's another one like if I wasn't watching garbage, I would have kept watching this one. So
Well, if you're gonna keep on watching garbage and you're gonna pre-order Balin, Wonder,
Balan
Baleen,
Wonderworld.
Wonderland, if you're gonna do Wonder whatever,
Mhm.
like Caleb, I can't stop you. I mean, we're gonna have to have
yeah,
a come to Jesus moment
I know,
sometime,
right?
but not tonight. I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
It's only
Okay.
so much time in the day.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll hit on the other two pilot, at least the two pilots that I watched with you. I
Yeah,
should say with you, but that we at least watched. But let's start with Young Rock, I guess.
that show's all right. I kind of like it.
It was
It's
okay.
not the best show ever, but
No,
I think it's got potential.
it's yeah. I think in all reality, I think this show has about 13 episodes in it. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's because so Jason, the way that they did the way this show is set up is that The Rock is running for president in 2032, and he's sitting down and having a conversation with a journalist about his life. And so what he does is he tells stories. He's telling stories about how he was brought up and everything, and they kind of hit through what, three or four different points in time in his life.
3.
Yeah, three different times in his life. One was when he was like probably between like 8 and 10 years old, and when his dad was a professional wrestler, and like he's hanging out with Andre the Giant, and all these like, and they've got like an actor who's playing Andre the Giant, who's like a there's going to be that group of people. Then there's a point in time when he is in high school, or like a freshman in high
Yeah,
school
high
or something,
school.
right?
Hmm.
And he's there, and he looks like he's 30 but in high school, because he's always just looked older. And then when he is a football player at the University of Miami, went back when the U, in the 90s was where it was to be. So like Michael Irvin's on that team. Like it's yeah, that so
Okay.
yeah, so that it tells that it goes through each of those storylines, and essentially, yeah, he's telling different stories as himself, but then it cuts to them, like 10 minutes of them acting out a scene of different things during those that points in time.
I can't take credit for this take because it's not mine,
Hmm.
but I agree with it. In that I think the show would be a lot better if The Rock actually wasn't in it. Like if they just did the stories, just did the flashbacks, I think it would actually benefit from that.
It doesn't have a ton of him in it, but at the
But the
same time,
parts where he's in just seem useless.
they
Like it
do.
it
Like
doesn't seem like there's a point to except for having his face on the screen, I guess,
I
is the
think
point.
I wonder if we're gonna have, after the first week, maybe second week, a lot less of that.
Or if it
Uh,
just becomes a voiceover instead of a
Yeah,
camera
like just
shot.
a VO type of thing. Yeah, because I mean, even the parts that he was in it, it was about 30 seconds to a minute at
Yeah.
most before they cut to a younger version of him doing whatever story it was. Um, and the thing is, like, they tell the story, and it's like, yeah, this is the story. It might even get embellished a little bit. And yeah, holy shit, yeah, those had to be embellished. Like they were, some of those stories were just like, yeah, like there's no way that happened. Like that's a little too far. Uh,
Yeah,
but
like with the car and all
yeah, the
that as you're talking
car,
about. Yeah.
yeah, that was. I was like,
You guys can talk in detail. I'm not watching this show.
I don't even
Yeah, there's
remember at
like
this point.
he buys a car from somebody, and there's a homeless guy sleeping in the back seat that he didn't notice. And then like he befriends that homeless guy, and then
Yeah,
the homeless guy dies in front of him in the car, so he just abandons the car. It's kind of weird.
right. Like this stuff could not have happened.
Yeah.
Like I get, maybe, yeah, you bought a car or like off a guy or something, and maybe there was like a cat or something in it, like that I could believe. But a homeless person who then ultimately dies in the car with, no, who, like, you took him to a, no, yeah, he bought the homeless guy bought booze for him, and he took him to a party and everything else. Like, no, this didn't happen. Like there's no way this happened. Yeah, that kind of
Yeah,
level.
I'm gonna keep watching it for now. I don't know if I'll stick with it too
I've
long, but
it's one of those that I DVR'd it, so now it's set up to record. We'll see if I ever watch another episode. Is
yeah.
kind of the direction I'm at with it. Then the show that premiered right after that was Keenan. This is the Keenan Thompson show. I like Keenan Thompson on SNL. I think he's pretty good at
Yep.
doing that. Um, this show, I don't.
He's a super charismatic guy,
Yeah.
and that comes through, but it doesn't necessarily match his what the show is going for.
No. So
So
yeah, go ahead.
he plays a talk show host, like a morning show host. And that comes through as being like, oh, that's like a perfect thing for Keenan to be. Like he would be incredible at that role. But the rest of the show around him is all about like how he's still depressed from his wife dying, and how his kids are struggling and his brother is struggling. And it's just like, I don't know if this is the right direction for them to take a series
For a
with Keenan.
Well, and for a comedy. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
very sad for a comedy. I mean, it was just like there's it wasn't this first episode was very little comedy at all. But
Yeah.
also Don Johnson is in this show. I knew you'd get a kick out of that. He is
He's the father-in-law
he's the father-in-law, but is
who
also still
lives
very
with them for
who
some
lives with
reason.
them after their mom died. But the mom was also very black. as well. So the fact that that was the father was a little confusing, just
I
from
don't know.
a casting standpoint.
This one didn't do much for me. I dropped it pretty much instantly.
Yeah, I, I mean, I finished the show, but the funniest part was at the very end. Did you watch that at all? The
Yeah, I
credits?
watched the episode, but then afterwards, I'm
Okay.
like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
leaving the list.
So Jason, just to at least throw the only funny part in was Keenan. The way he met their mom, come to find out, was they were on a TV show together, where like the joke of the show was that he was like an older, like a high school kid, and like his mom was like, it was kind of, I don't know how it was all set up or whatever, but either way, his wife played his mom in the show, even though she was only 3 years older than him in real life, because she essentially looked older and he looked younger. So it was like, oh yeah, I think they said, yeah, if you were like in your mid 20s or something, yeah, you could play like you were in your mid 30s as a female. But if you were, he had a baby face and could play like he was a teenager. And there was a whole scene set up where like she was tucking him into bed, like, and putting him to bed, and like just started like making out with him, and the people were like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, like, you can't do this, like, like, it's not how a mother kisses a son goodnight. And then she was just like, she'd like go up to him, and like he'd be like, he'd said something, and he was like, oh, but mom, it's fine. And then she just like puts her finger up to his mouth. She's like, shh, like, and then she like slowly starts caressing him, like it it was really like just funny. Like, that was about the only funny part of the show, but it was during like the credits are literally rolling over top of this as well. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna watch Keenan ever again.
He went. That's the thing, is I don't know how much is Keenan like writer, producer, director, because he put his name on this. So like, if it gets canceled, oh man, you can't ever call another show Keenan. Keenan.
Lorne Michaels is the executive producer on it, but I mean, that's,
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that won't be the first thing that he's been the EP on that's been
No,
canceled.
there's been a
So.
lot of bad Lorne
NBC can
Michaels.
bleep up Toast.
Mhm.
Telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. At the same time, I don't know what you do with Keenan Thompson. Like, I mean, the guy is incredible at variety shows. Sometimes you just
Has
got
always been.
sometimes you just got to stay in your lane. And even at that, the other guy that's from SNL that's on there with him, Chris Red, stay in your lane. 'Cause, like, I don't, his character on that show is terrible. Like, the brother character, he's a parody of something that was funny in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's what's bad. It was like, oh, you're like that brother that they made fun of in the 80s, and you're bringing that back. This is not funny. Same with Don Johnson. Also a parody of like a grandfather that doesn't know what he's doing, and yeah.
So here's what I'll do. I'll just run through the list of other terrible things.
It is.
The Luminaries was on Stars. I literally tried to watch this 3 times and fell asleep all 3 times. So it's so boring. Can't
don't know
even,
what it is. I'll just let you leave it at that. That it's a boring TV show.
The Crew is Kevin James' new Netflix comedy.
There you go.
It's absolutely horrid.
All he had to say was Kevin James' new comedy, and I was out.
Yeah, laugh track, just horrible.
Mm.
Behind Her Eyes on Netflix. The episode that I watched was like, it had a couple of interesting things going on. I've heard that it gets super weird as it goes, but I can't. It didn't hook me enough to even care. I might read about what happens. Maybe I'll try to look that up. Archibald's Next Big Thing is Here is a kid show on Peacock that's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I already mentioned Tell Me Your Secrets, which was on Prime. Terrible, just really bad. So yeah, that's what I did. I am looking forward. Tomorrow on HBO is a show that's coming over from, I think, Norway. It's called Beartown. It looks really good. I'm gonna definitely be checking that one out.
quickly, I wanted to mention, and this is kind of a question for Caleb, a little bit not long-winded, but allow me to be brief. I watched 2 movies. I watched Judas and the Black Messiah. It's as good as you think it would be, considering those actors. So if you guys are looking for a movie and you want to, it was certainly better than The Little Things. Ooh, The Little Things. Jared Leto got a bunch of Golden Globe noms for that. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No.
Right after I
Next
dunked on it
next
last
week is the Golden Globes. Maybe we should have a sweet little watch party with that or
Side by
something
side.
going. Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy over the Golden Globes right now too.
Oh,
So,
really?
I'll have to
About
look at
what?
that.
The nominees
I
or
didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, the movies last year were complete shit. I feel like they should just not even give a movie award out for this year.
I watched also, it was leaving HBO, which is the only reason I reminded myself to watch it. I watched Us, Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Have either of you seen Get Out or Us?
No.
Yeah. I didn't know that you had not seen Us.
No. So,
Okay.
Caleb, the reason why I'm mentioning this to you is Tim Heidecker is all but brief in Us. He's great.
Yeah.
That's like such a departure. You know what it reminds me of? Have you guys seen Gone Girl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Caleb, you seen Gone Girl?
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember Tyler Perry?
Yeah.
In Gone Girl? Like legitimate actor Tyler Perry
Yeah.
playing his lawyer? Tim Heidecker not doing the Tim Heidecker thing. Right? You know what I mean? Like he plays in Us, Logan. He plays, these families are they're on their vacation and they're in their vacation homes, and he's like the white family. He's the wealthy, obnoxious dad of the white family, and he's all tatted up and he's broy, and it's just so not him. Like, it's nothing like he's ever. Am I right with that, Caleb?
Yeah.
So you're telling me he wasn't all bunged up?
No, he was not all bunged up. He wasn't doing anything satirical. Like, he was legit playing a character, and he was good at it too. That was like my favorite part of Us. But I know, Caleb, you've seen it. It is there's a lot to digest, there, because Jordan Peele is on just a whole other level. But it's good, and I'm glad I saw it before it left HBO.
Yeah, it's not Get Out, which I think
It's not.
It would have been way better for him to put a little bit more time in between those two, because without the comparisons, I think it would have been regarded a little bit better. But
you're right. It's because Get Out is like, it's the perfect movie in for what it's going for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not the perfect movie, but for the thing that Jordan Peele is trying to do, I mean, you just can't do it any better,
Yeah.
So I could see that, but I'm glad I watched Us, because it's also very, very good. Go figure. Jordan Peele, guy's kind of a freaking genius. But that's it.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I have is, and I forgot to write it down, watched a little bit of the Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. That is on Netflix. Have you guys watched any of that at all?
Yeah, I watched episode 1 last week. Yep.
Oh, okay, I couldn't remember if we watched any of that, or sorry, but yeah, it's fine. It's one of those docu-films.
It is one of those. The funny thing, I'll tell a quick story about that. I was watching a little bit of that today, of the 3rd episode, and they spend about 10 minutes on the subject of the Night Stalker documentary, because that guy spent time at the Cecil, and so it is like shameless cross promotion. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny, because they just,
like, if you want to watch this, click over, search on the.
It's almost like, God, I wish you'd just put a YouTube thumbnail up there and just get it over with. It's
if they had that ability,
like that.
Yeah, they probably would just be like, here, like, suggested for you, like, in the bottom corner, and all of a sudden, like, it's like the skip ad thing. It's just all, but it's like, click here, switch over to this if you want to watch this. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think I have.
I haven't finished that yet, but we can talk about it when we both finish it.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be one of those that even my wife was kind of like, this one's like not my favorite either. So, which I don't think I will turn it on without her saying, hey, let's watch this. So it might be a while before we finish it, since we're gonna probably watch It's a Sin and maybe The Head next. So
I think you'll both like The Head. I do.
So I mentioned the Golden Globe controversy. I just pulled it up.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So do you remember how Emily in Paris was nominated for one of the awards for best show or whatever?
Why?
And
I don't
everyone
know.
was like, "Why?" Because that show's not that good.
No.
Well, it just came out that the Golden Globes like voting panel was all flown to Paris for a set visit, given a 2-night stay at a 5-star hotel where rooms are
That's
about $1,400 a night. And then their news conference and lunch was held at the Musée des. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to a private museum.
sure. Yeah.
Which has amusement rides dating back to 1850. And then the quote from it is, "They treated us like kings and queens," and then it got an award nomination.
So I guess here's the question: do other shows do this for Golden Globe panelists?
Apparently not, because I mean, if you're judging everything equally, Emily in Paris should not have been nominated.
No,
for the
that show
award,
is not.
so
That show is
that show's
mildly
okay at best.
mildly entertaining is what I would
Right.
say that show is.
Who's the host this year? Do we know?
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not above just addressing that right away. It might be kind of funny.
I
True.
wonder if that one's kind of if I don't know. That seems
I don't know, man. It seems like pretty much everything is on limits after I, that's the way out of it for me. Like, you let them just kill the whole situation, get it out there. You know what I mean? Like, it's like when you're trying to make fun of someone who's too busy making fun of themselves because they're too self-deprecating. Like,
well,
if they just let them
There's
riff
no
on
audience
that,
though either though.
yeah, I was gonna say if the
yeah.
actors were in the audience and they were just shitting on the show, that might be a little uncomfortable. But since there's no audience, maybe
Maybe
Just
they
let it
have
rip.
to. I don't
Let
know.
it rip.
But at the same time, like if you're running that show, that you're putting the teleprompter together, are you really gonna say, "Hey, yeah, our judges are sleazeballs, and can be bought off to the highest bidder to get a nomination"? That's
I mean, it's the
basically.
Golden Globes. Why not?
I mean, Ricky
If
Gervais.
I
I mean, his flat out not giving a shit for years on that, and somehow keeps getting brought back.
that's
So
what I mean. I think if the Golden Globes knows what the Golden Globes is, like if you're aware enough to realize we're the fucking Golden Globes, like they're the party one.
they're
Like,
always the more
the
fun
SAG
show.
awards are more serious and to be held with higher regard than the Golden Globes. Like,
At the
just
same time, I
own
think
it.
I prefer a Golden Globe just because of the stupidness of it all.
Well, that's what I mean. But
Mm-hmm.
you also understand, like,
Oh,
if you
I know
look
where
at
it
those,
comes
like,
from.
and you know when
Mm-hmm.
you like something that gets a Golden Globe, you're like, all right, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you feel like
I
you're
feel more
slapping
validated.
five
I feel more
because it's
validated with a
probably
Golden
your
Globe
personal bias. You know what I mean? It doesn't
because
matter. You're like,
it's because they pick what I'm more entertained by
right,
versus an Oscar is gonna go to something that I'm like,
or even the Emmys. Like,
Emmys. I'm
those
usually
are
a
to
little
be
higher. Yeah, I'm
those are to
usually
be
good at
taken more seriously than the Golden Globes.
them.
That's my read on it anyway. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but
I mean, at least I'm
fucking
not going with
Golden
the People's
Globes,
Choice Award. I mean, that's
ugh,
yeah,
not yet.
not yet. I like to go somewhere in between.
there's one other piece of TV news that I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about.
Yes.
Did you guys see the Donald Glover contract? So Donald Glover signed a massive deal with Amazon. They're giving him his own what do they call it? Own channel, or I don't remember exactly what the
Featured
word they used
section or
for it.
something.
But I'm guessing it's going to be like on their list of things to watch. He'll have his own row of stuff. Is basically what that means.
Recommended by Donald Glover. Half the stuff
Yeah.
is not available on Prime, and you have to buy them all.
But the part about this that I want to make sure that you guys knew is don't freak out, because there is a clause in that deal that lets him keep working on Atlanta. So Atlanta, yes. So they're gonna be filming seasons 3 and 4 back to back, just so that he can get done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they said that's going to be this year they're filming.
I think I know they're already written.
For Atlanta in probably next year, season 3, and then season 4 at some point. He'll be done after that, obviously. But just know that it still is. Even if you do see the headline of like he's at Amazon now, that means Atlanta's still okay.
That show is just so special. Like I just if he has a vision for it, and if it is all but brief 4 seasons, like I will be so thrilled that he's able to see that through. And like the four main characters on that show, dude, that
Yeah, they're all.
I don't know, incredible.
They're all
incredible.
Well, and then they've blown up since then. That's the other thing. It's just to get the 4 of them to even get scheduled to film that show at this point has got to be a nightmare. I'm actually surprised that he signed with Amazon. I mean, he's been doing some Disney stuff recently. He did the Solo movie, and
the speculation there is that since they are giving him his own, whatever they're calling it, platform or channel or whatever it is, that's the speculation that's what tipped him over to that.
And Disney's probably not going to allow him to do some more adult content that he'd want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy did bring.
He's going to tackle some issues. I mean, be ready. Like he's.
I mean, the guy tackled bro rape years ago, and
ever since then. Oh man, you sprayed this with Dax? Yeah, like a can and a half.
Yeah. I keep forgetting every week, and then I go to bed, and I look up, and I was like, I've never brought this up on the podcast before. Caleb, please tell me you're at least watching The Chase.
No.
Do you know what The Chase is?
No.
How do you not know what The Chase is?
I don't know.
Jason, do you have any idea what The Chase is?
Is this a TV show?
It is a game show on ABC where there's 3 contestants. You have a minute to answer as many questions as you possibly can. And they're all like decently hard questions. Each question you get right is $25,000.
Okay.
You then go to a board and you have to answer either, like, I think it's like 5 questions correct to keep that money, to bank that money. That's essentially what you do. And you have they will offer you like more money to get 6 questions correct, or less money to only get 4 questions correct.
Oh.
And there's 3 people. Like, so you go a solo round. There's 3 people that do a solo round, and if all 3 of you make it to there, you bank all that money, and then you go to a final round where you get 2 minutes rapid fire questions, where you get as many questions as you can right. But then there's the chaser. So keep in mind too, when that solo round rolls around, when you have to get the 5 questions right, there is a chaser who is either 3 questions behind you with the 5 questions right, or no, sorry, yeah, 3 questions, or there are 2 questions if you go for the money. That chaser is either James Holzhauer, Brad Rutter, or why can't I think of the other guy's name? Shit.
Ken Jennings?
Ken Jennings. And that same goes for when, like, so that last round, when you have 2 minutes of questions, if you get, let's say you get 15 right, they start at 15 and they get 2 minutes and they throw it to one of the Jeopardy guys, and they have 2 minutes to try to go back down to 0.
I'm gonna have to. Yep.
This show's incredible. I can't believe you haven't watched this. Like,
yeah, they do a really bad job of marketing their game shows.
Yeah, they do
a really bad job. I just learned about what's the other one called? It's like The Imposter or something like that.
I don't even know.
It's called.
They're doing Celebrity Wheel of Fortune too, which is real dumb. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, The Chase is because, like, so the thing is, like, if you're going back, like, because they'll fly through questions, and all of a sudden if you stump like Ken Jennings, then they say stop the clock, and then you go to that panel to the contestants, and if they know the answer, then you push them back another one.
Okay.
So it's a constant. I've only seen one team win out of 6 episodes. That's how good everybody is. Like, there was one episode, Holzhauer, like, he had 40 seconds left, like, out of 2 minutes. He'd already caught him. He was just like, and And so the other thing is too, depending on who's playing the chaser of that game, the other two are in the back in the green room watching it all go down and just like commenting on it and giving each other shit. Like,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, I think there's been like 5 or 6 episodes at this point. So, yeah, just see if you can go back and dig those out cuz they're pretty good. It's actually a British game show. And that I watched about probably 10 years ago, and there was this the chaser guy there was this like really big like British professor guy, and they tried to sell him like he was the monster and he's gonna chase you down, and like they had him be rude to everybody. But in
Oh.
all reality, the guy just wasn't rude to begin with, and it was
Mm.
like really hard for him to play that rude character. And I think they finally just gave up, and they were like,
British
just
game shows are great. My favorite game show is British. And I wish they'd bring it over here.
which
It's
one's
called
that?
Pointless. If you ever watched Pointless.
I don't know if I've ever heard of it.
So the goal is it's a trivia game, and the goal is that you need to tell a correct answer to their question. That it's like reverse Family Feud. So you want to have a technically correct answer that nobody out of the 100 people they surveyed said.
Oh.
So if it was like you're trying to give the most obscure correct answer, basically. So for one of them, it was like Super Bowl MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, Desmond Howard. Like, no one's going to remember that Desmond Howard won a Super Bowl MVP. And that was a pointless answer. Nobody knew that one.
Mm.
But if you said like Peyton Manning, like 25 or 30 people said it. So you get you get that amount of points, and your goal is to be the lowest.
Got it.
I wish they would do an American version, because a lot of the times you'll get on there and it'll be like members of parliament. And it's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, there's the pop culture reference you don't get because you don't live there. Yeah. I did not know that was even a show. That does sound interesting.
Yeah, I wish there was an American version of that.
All right. Okay. Well, look that up. Let me know what you think of that show, because that show's I like that show a lot. That's oddly enough, that's one of those shows I keep up on every week, and like I could get excited for it to come out.
Yeah.
I think it's on Thursdays.
Okay.
Is when it is. So anyway, all
Yeah,
right.
we can let Jason go, and then I want to talk briefly about WandaVision, but we don't need to do that on air.
Oh yeah.
I know Jason doesn't care at all.
You guys can talk about that. It's fine.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
At
if
the
you,
same
if
time,
you guys watched it.
Yeah, I mean it's super spoilery probably. So.
Oh well, I don't care.
But I guess I'm talking for the rest of any of the world who wants to. Because who wants to see that?
You guys.
So, we'll end it, and we'll talk about it afterwards. So, all right. This has been the Master of Unlocking podcast. We'll see if we have a heart attack after eating Baconators this week.